tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ron Hawthorne, 2012 Paralympian, 2017 Athlete of the Year, 18-time national champion, multiple Grand Prix World Championships that I won, world champion in the sport of judo. I'm the second ever athlete coming out of Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County to ever make it to the Paralympics or Olympics. The only other person to ever do this is Maurice Green, and it's been an honor and privilege to be able to just represent Brick City, represent Wyandotte County, because I always say that Kansas City, Kansas has a lot of superstars, and I so happen to be one of them. But we have so much going on in this city that it gets covered up, and people don't recognize the good. They only see the bad that comes out of this city.
Okay. So I heard you was back in town for a wedding. How'd that go?
Oh man, the wedding was beautiful. I had the opportunity to be the best man in my brother Eric McAbee's wedding. Man, it was great. I guess I'm up next because I caught the garter belt. So I guess one day when I find that beautiful bride that says yes or want to take on being with me for the rest of her life, then I'm up next.
So Eric is he your little brother or big brother?
Eric's actually my cousin, but we grew up together in the same household, so he called me his little brother. He's actually older than me.
Growing up, you kind of went through some tragedies in your life,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Growing up down here, can you kind of share that with the
Uh,
people and how you were able to recover from that and excel in what you do?
yeah. At the age of 2, I was hit in the head with a baseball bat by my stepfather. I think for me, it changed my life drastically just because it made me legally blind or visually impaired. And so I had to learn at an early age how to survive and how to overcome a lot of obstacles because dealing with people making fun of you in the projects, you either had to show up all the time or you always had to fight. And so that's where I got into doing sports, which was wrestling and judo and running track, is because I had to prove myself each and every day to everybody that I was on the same playing field or I had something special. And I felt like that's what helped me get to where I am today is by surviving being murdered at a young age and to be able to come back and tell my story and to overcome a lot of adversity and to deal with poverty is just help me elevate and keep me going still to this day. And I'm able to give back to a lot of the youth in this city plus around the country because I can relate to a lot of things that they're going through in their lives. And I try to put myself in that situation because I always tell people if I could talk to 1,000 people or a million people, but if I could just touch one person and change their lives, to me that's better than winning a gold medal at the Olympics and Paralympics and the World Championships.
I heard that. So in the background we hear all type of commotion because we right here. We right here in the ghetto on Fourth and Edgerton,
Yes.
at Edgerton Park on the basketball court. So we in the thick of it. We in the hood. So growing up in the hood, or the time you spent here, what was some advice that someone might have told you that helped you to survive down here? Because a lot of black males don't survive in it.
For me, I was different because people always saw something different in me for the fact that I always was around athletics. I always had the opportunity to get surrounded with people that believed in me, even though I had a time I didn't believe in myself. But I had coaches, I had other cousins and black leadership that'll say, "Hey, well, you wrestle." Everybody know me for wrestling. Everybody know me for running track, swimming, and also gave speeches, which was forensics. So I also had that opportunity for people's like, man, just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get out of here. You're gonna make it. Keep your head up. Don't like when you go out. Once you leave here, when you go out, man, don't worry about nothing. Come back here. Like just keep staying focused. If something happened back here, if it's important, we'll call you. If don't, man, don't worry about nothing. Just stay what you're doing because you know what, you made it. Because if somebody else see what you're doing, they get the opportunity to say, you know what, Lil Ron Showtime made it from Juniper Garden. somebody to look up to. He's somebody that we want to be like. And so when I come around, a lot of people gravitate to me, and I'm usually quiet. I'm usually the person that doesn't. I'm usually always the person that, I just be quiet and I just stick around, I watch and I listen. And then, like I said, sometimes it feels good to come back here to visit, but I was like, I come, you only can stay so long because, like I said, when you're in the hood, man, it's just like, it just brings you back to everything else that you always used to do. And it's like, I don't like this lifestyle anymore.
Who were some of the people you remember from your time living down here?
Well, I had the privilege, honestly, to get raised by my grandmother, Dorothy Alexander. And back then it was Dorothy Hawthorne, my grandfather, Minister Alexander, Lee Alexander. And so we used to, like I said, live at 202 Edgerton. That's a 2-bedroom apartment, which people, if you're not from Juniper Gardens, you don't know, that's small. We used to have 12 people living there. So my uncle Marvin Hawthorne, Eric Maccabee, and then Marvin, his wife, and 5 kids, and my daddy. We all used to stay in there. And then, of course, Montrese Maccabees, my cousin, the McGees, if people know Mark McGee and Don McGee and all of them, they all my family. So I come around a great family and a lot of people that's well known here in this city.
What is the next, kind of like your next goal? What is your ultimate, what would you say would be your ultimate achievement?
My ultimate achievement is I've been to the Paralympics twice. I've been once as an athlete, and then I also had the opportunity to be able to coach a young lady. I qualified her to the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics last year, 2021 last year. She went on to do great things, and my ultimate goal is to get back to the games because I know what it's like. I already took 7th. I won the World Championships. I medaled at Grand Prix, but my next goal is to get back and get that medal at the Paralympics in 2024, which is Paris. And the qualifications actually start this November, and the World Championships are in Baku, Azerbaijan. And then I got the Pan American Championships in December, which are in Edmonton, Canada, that I'm preparing for right now. And that's the start for the qualified for Paris 2024. And then the ultimate goal is to get that gold medal there. And then I want to hold on so I can retire at the LA 2028 Paralympic Games in my home country. That'd be the biggest goal, is to be able to shine and be able to compete in my home country on the biggest stage, biggest platform in the world.
So, man, you make it. So, when you was going through your, growing up in the project, you used to struggle. What was like a struggle meal that your family used to cook when, times got kind of hard that you can remember?
Oh, man, we always used to eat neck bones and black eyed peas, man. That and noodle strings. I just had my grandma laugh the other day because me and Eric was telling her the other day, we used to always hate eating peas or beans. And so it's like we act like we ate it, but we really didn't. We'd like wrap it up in a napkin, throw it out the back door. And she said, y'all still not too old to get y'all butts whooped. But no, we just always just ate noodles, man. Like, we found out every kind of way to make noodles and eat noodles. That was like really the struggle meal. And then like all bologna sandwiches, that was just small thing. Like, you had to figure out how to fend for yourself. Like I said, you had 12 people in the house, man. Food don't go too far. Like I said, we was always shopping at Aldi's to get like not name brand food and just living off of like welfare and food stamps, man. It was a struggle. And like I said, that lifestyle is okay, but when you know that you can do better or try to strive for greatness and try to strive for better, you always want to keep trying to elevate up, because you know what? I always say this, you always got to start somewhere. Everybody always say you start from the bottom. I mean, I feel like you start really from the middle and then you try to go up. And then sometimes you get up, it's like a roller coaster ride. You go up, 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 and up, and then you come back down. And then now you got to figure out, okay, how do I go back up? Because you can't always stay up, but you always can't stay down either.
Have you ever had a problem with anybody, outside of the sport that you had to use your judo to defend yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, being legally blind, getting picked on, man, people didn't think that I could fight, and people always like ask me, oh, are you looking at me, or how many fingers I'm holding up? Eventually, man, they just got irritated and got tired of it. So people like would try to pick fights with me, but then everybody knew that I could fight, so they'll see what I really could do because I was always smaller than everybody else. But then now people know that it was like, man, Showtime, man, Ron. Back then he could fight, but now he said they done messed up and done taught him some skills. So it's like we really don't want to mess with him now.
Where'd you get the name Showtime?
Man, because every time that I competed or did something, I always put on highlight reels and I always shine in the moment. And so that's why they started calling me Showtime down here in Juniper Gardens.
And
Because I always lived in the moment. Like I never let something pass it by. When it was time to compete, when it was time to achieve something, could nobody tell me that if I put my mind to it, I always rise to the occasion.
so did you go into any of the schools around here? Or?
Yeah, I actually, so I went to Schlegel High School. I went to West Middle School, and then I also went to the Kansas State School for the Blind for an hour out of the day to learn Braille. 'Cause I had to learn how to read Braille as well in case I end up losing my sight. So it was another skill that I had to pick up for later on in life in case I went totally blind.
So how do you manage being legally blind with your life? Do you drive or
No, I
does
don't.
it get in the,
So
does
no.
it get in the way? Because it don't seem to me you don't look.
Yeah, I don't. So I can't drive. I can't drive at all. So I usually have friends, or I go stay in cities that have really good public transportation, that has a train system, a good bus system, and I learn the city that I'm in, or learn where to navigate. And I have like accessibility things on my phone, so if I don't know where I'm at, I can like listen to some kind of app that gives me information. And then I also have friends or family members when I come into town that has cars, like, hey, I need to go somewhere, or hey, y'all come pick me up. They always give me a lend a hand to come and pick me up if they are free or they're not doing anything, or it just depends on what situations I'm in. And then also, of course, I use Uber or Lyft a lot.
I'm gonna ask you, Tony's, McCurry's, or Moore's Market? You pick one. Which one?
Man, I used to go to I used to go to Tony's all the time until Tony's got burnt down. And then I always went to Moore's because I used to go to this little rec center down the street down here at Turner House with Mr. Hall and them, and so they had that rec center, so I was always over at Moore's a lot too. So I think Moore's for me was more home than anything because, like I said, Tony's, I remember it until it got burned down, and I really stopped going to Tony's when they moved and went over to start doing Moore's all the time because that's what Moore's, they had like the hot pickles and all the pops and
So, the Turner House. You mentioned Turner House.
yeah.
What was some of the things y'all used to do? What kind of activities?
Oh man,
How did that affect your upbringing?
Turner House was good, man, because it got an opportunity to bring all the youth and teenagers around this whole Juniper Garden area to come up there to do activities, after school activities. Like I remember back in the day when we used to have a drill team, and so we all was playing drums, used to march, and like Turner House had their own drill team, and so it just gave us opportunity to just do stuff and not be around the violence, because I mean it was easy for everybody to fall into the trap, but if you had a rec center that people can come and just do like play games, talk, do talent shows, do drill team, it was good for everybody to do. And even when people wanted to fight, the gentleman that was running the club back then, I don't want to give his name because I don't want to put him on blast, but he'll let us like fist fight for like, he'll like, you got 1 minute, and if y'all don't settle in 1 minute, it's over. Don't walk out of here, don't walk back in here with it, don't walk out of here when it's over. You got 1 minute to fight, and like he'll set the clock and people box for 1 minute.
So,
and then sometime if he felt that is even, or he felt the person got it, if you want to go a second time, he'll give you 1 more minute, and that was it. You got basically 2 rounds to settle your differences. But it was all hands. It was more so what the saying now, put up the gloves, put down the guns.
what piece of advice would you give one of these young kids coming up, man, as far as, in the environment that they grow up in and kind of the things that they have to deal with today in society? What kind of advice would you give if you give one piece of advice?
I'll say this, man. Use me as an example. A lot of people doubted me, told me that I couldn't do nothing. I survived being abused as a kid, child abuse, survived being murdered. I overcame a lot of trials and tribulations. And first thing and foremost, you got to believe in God, or you got to believe whatever religion you believe in. It's always a higher power that's going to give you the right knowledge to do. And set your goals. Write stuff down. You don't even have to tell people what you're going to do at the end of the day. Just write your stuff down, and then at the end of the year or however long you set your goal, go back and look and see if you accomplished it. Because I always say this. I use this quote every time from Les Brown, who's a great motivational speaker. He always says, shoot for the moon, because if you miss or fail, you're going to land among the stars.
Any last closing words you want to say to me?
Yeah, everybody go follow me on Facebook, Ron Showtime Hawthorne. You can follow me on Instagram, Ron Showtime Hawthorne, and then also my Twitter, Humble Hungry 7. And just keep supporting me, man. I'm gonna finally bring that gold medal home to y'all, man, to Kansas City, Kansas. Even if I get bronze, I'm gonna still get that medal for y'all. And I appreciate y'all, man. I do this for y'all. I do this for the youth out here.